I wish I could tell you it started with something dramatic. Screaming, broken plates, a motel receipt fluttering to the floor like a death sentence. But no, it started with a name. Two names, actually. I was looking for the printer cable. That's all. We just moved into the new apartment. Boxes everywhere, wires tangled. Those early days where love still clings to every coffee mug and shared joke. I opened the drawer beside her desk, and there it was, a neatly folded piece of paper, crisp like it had just been printed. At first, I thought nothing of it. Baby name ideas was typed in bold at the top. I smiled. We'd been talking about it. Not seriously, just in that flirty, daydream way you do when the world still feels full of promise. I thought, she's surprising me. She's getting ahead of things. But then I noticed the date. 2 weeks ago. My heart stuttered. Not a sprint, not a fall, just a quiet falter, like a record skipping. Because 2 weeks ago, she'd been away, visiting her sister in Maine, or so she said. I remember that week vividly. It was the first time I'd felt lonely in a long time. I missed her so much it was embarrassing. I even slept on her side of the bed. But this list, it wasn't a romantic gesture. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't for me. Because at the bottom of the page, beneath names like Emery, Silas, and Luca, was a tiny, accidental note. A slip of a mind too comfortable, too familiar. Too many names. Ask Jay what he thinks. Jay, I don't know why, but I read that line 20 times. Like repetition could unlock some alternative meaning. She always said I was overthinking. When I'd ask who she was texting, and she'd pull her phone away with that half smile and say nobody important. When I'd see her eyes flicker when I mentioned the idea of kids. When I'd ask if she was happy, and she'd say of course, but never look up from her screen. You overthink everything, she told me once, brushing off my concern when she started coming home later than usual. Not everything's a crisis. But this didn't feel like overthinking. This felt like discovery. I sat on the floor beside the desk with that list in my hand for almost an hour. Not crying. Not angry. Just unraveling. You know how sometimes your whole body knows something before your mind catches up? That's what it felt like. My limbs went cold. My thoughts started racing ahead of me. Who the hell was Jay? I didn't ask her that night. She came home with Thai takeout and stories about her sister's baby shower, laughing as she mimicked some toddler's dance. She kissed me on the cheek, called me her rock. I kissed her back, and then I lay in bed staring at the ceiling while she snored gently beside me. The next morning, I took the paper to work, photocopied it. I slipped the original back into the drawer, folded exactly how I'd found it. I wanted her to feel safe, to stay careless, because now I was watching. I started small, checking her calendar, scanning the receipts she left in her purse. She wasn't even trying to hide them. That's what hurt the most. Like she thought I was too soft, too trusting to question her. Maybe I was. Until I found the second clue. We were in the car, waiting for our coffees at the drive-thru. Her phone buzzed on the dash. I saw the preview. Jay, thinking about last weekend again. That look on your face. She snatched the phone before I could see more. Laughed, said it was a joke from her sister's husband. I nodded, smiled. Overthinking again, right? But that night, I dug deeper. I waited until she was asleep, her phone face down on the nightstand like always. She never changed the password. Trust, she called it. Or arrogance. The thread was long, buried in a group chat labeled Work Buddies. Her and Jay. Not many messages, but the tone, it wasn't work. It was personal, familiar, private. There were mentions of late-night drinks. One message where she said, "Wish we could be somewhere no one knows us." And then, Jay, when you told me about the list, I couldn't stop picturing it. There it was again, the list. I didn't screenshot anything. I didn't want digital proof. I didn't want a file. I just needed the truth to reach my bones. And it did. 2 weeks ago, while I was here imagining names for a baby we might one day have, she was elsewhere, already naming one, with someone else. The funny part? I'd been researching cribs. She came home the next day with flowers. Said she missed me. Said she felt closer to me than ever. I looked her in the eye and told her I felt the same. And in that moment, I did. But not in the way she thought. Because now I was close to something else. The edge. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. Not the peaceful kind. The eerie calm you get before a storm rolls in, where even the birds seem to know something's about to break. She was more affectionate than usual. Made me coffee in the mornings, asked about my day, curled up beside me like we were back in our dating years. And the worst part? I let her. I let her hold my hand. I let her rest her head on my shoulder during movie night. I let her tell me I was everything she ever wanted. All while my stomach turned, coiled tight like a wire about to snap. I needed answers. Real ones. No more reading between lines or analyzing emojis. I wanted the truth straight from her mouth. But I also knew, if I came at this head-on, she'd retreat. She'd deny, deflect, gaslight. I'd heard enough stories from friends, watched enough people I cared about get gutted by betrayal masked in feigned innocence. I wasn't going to be one of them. So, I played the long game. I started asking little questions. Casual things. Who's Jay again? I feel like I've heard his name before. She blinked once, then smiled. Oh, just someone from the marketing team. We worked together on the rebrand. Smooth. No hesitation. And he's the one you were texting about Maine? She laughed. No, Jules's husband. Also a Jay. That gets confusing, huh? The way she said it, so natural, so unbothered, for a second, I believed her. That's the thing about liars. Good ones don't sweat. They don't stutter. They don't blink too long. I nodded. Right, got it. Later that night, I checked the company directory. No one named Jay in marketing. No Jules either. Another lie. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed something definitive. Something that would drop like a hammer, not a whisper. That came 4 days later. She left her tablet unlocked on the couch when she went to shower. I wasn't snooping. Not this time. I was just picking up the blanket she left crumpled on the floor. The screen lit up. A note-taking app was open. My heart thudded before I even read it. I just knew. It wasn't just a list of names this time. It was titled, First Trimester, Thoughts. I read it all. Every single word. Week 6. Nausea worse today? Jay says it means girl. Need to find a new OB. Don't want to cross paths with Alex. Still can't believe this is happening. Feels surreal. He'd be a good dad if things were different. He'd be a good dad if things were different. That one split me right down the middle. I didn't even realize I was shaking until she came back into the room, towel around her head, face soft from the steam. She saw the tablet in my hand. Froze. There was a pause. Long, heavy. Then she said it, barely above a whisper. You shouldn't go through my stuff. I looked up at her. You're pregnant. She didn't answer. Just wrapped her arms around herself like the room had turned cold. Whose is it? I asked, though I already knew. Alex. Her voice cracked. She didn't finish. I stood up. My legs were trembling, but I stayed upright. Just barely. You told me I overthink, I said. You made me feel crazy. I didn't mean to, she said quickly, voice rising. It got complicated. I didn't plan for this. But you planned baby names, I said. With him. Silence. I should have yelled. I should have broken something. But instead, I just stood there. I wanted to tell you, she said, eyes glassy. But I didn't know how. You told him first. That hit her. She sank into the couch like the air had left her lungs. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. No, I said. You just wanted to rewrite the story without me noticing. She didn't argue. Didn't beg. Maybe part of her was relieved. Maybe it was easier to be caught than to confess. I packed that night. Quietly. Just essentials. She didn't try to stop me. As I zipped the bag, she finally said, I never stopped loving you. I paused. My back was to her. I just stopped feeling like I deserved you, she added. I didn't turn around. Didn't give her the comfort of eye contact. Turns out, I said, you were right. And I walked out the door. I didn't go far that night. Just a modest motel a few miles away. One of those roadside places with flickering neon signs and vending machines that swallow your dollars without apology. I needed somewhere cold, somewhere that didn't carry our scent. Somewhere I could breathe. The room smelled like bleach and cigarette ghosts. Perfect. I lay on the stiff mattress and stared at the ceiling for hours, not crying, not sleeping, just unraveling the years we built like loose threads between my fingers. I kept replaying that final line. I never stopped loving you. I just stopped feeling like I deserved you. What does that even mean? Was it supposed to comfort me? Was I supposed to take that as proof she cared, because her guilt had limits? I don't know. I still don't. But the more I sat with it, the more something strange happened. The fury I thought I'd feel never came. No rage, no fantasies of revenge or public exposure. Just grief. Pure, concentrated loss. Not of her exactly, but of the man I used to be when I loved her freely, when I believed we were in this life together. No hidden chapters, no secret scripts. That man, he didn't survive. A few days passed. She didn't call, didn't text. I think we both knew the silence said more than any apology ever could. But on the fifth day, I got a message. Not from her, from Jay. It was short, clinical, a lawyer's draft. I'm sorry for what happened. I had no intention of disrupting your marriage. If you wish to speak, I'm willing. I didn't reply, not because I didn't have words. I had plenty. I just didn't want to spend another second cleaning up the mess someone else made with their carelessness. I spent the next few weeks sorting through the practical stuff. I canceled the lease renewal, changed the mailing address, called the bank. I'd handled all the admin of our life. As she once joked, now I was handling the divorce. We didn't fight over assets. There weren't many. What stung more was packing up things like the wedding album, the framed photo of us in Big Sur, the baby socks she once bought just for fun. Those tiny socks undid me more than anything. We never had a child, but she was having one now, with someone who, as far as I could tell, had only existed on the edges of her life until recently. And yet she trusted him with something so monumental, so irreversible. Why not me? That question haunted me. And the truth I eventually settled on wasn't cinematic. It wasn't dramatic. It was this. She didn't fall in love with someone else because I lacked something. She fell because she didn't know how to sit still in something steady. Some people mistake peace for boredom. They get used to chaos, to drama, to the rush of the new. And when someone offers them quiet love, the kind that shows up, pays the bills, remembers anniversaries, listens without fixing, they don't know what to do with it. I was her quiet love. And in the end, she wanted noise. The last time I saw her was at the lawyer's office, weeks later. She looked tired, softer around the eyes. She didn't wear a ring. I didn't either. She didn't speak much, just signed where she was told. But as I was walking out, she said my name. Just my name. Like it hurt to say. I turned. She didn't apologize. Didn't explain. Just said, "You would have been a good dad." And I believed her. But that's not the same as being allowed to be one. I nodded. Take care of the baby. I didn't mean it bitterly. I meant it as a prayer. For the child. For the small, innocent life that didn't ask for any of this. Then I walked out. This time for good. It's been nearly a year. I moved across the state. Different job. Smaller apartment. But I sleep better now. The ache is still there sometimes, but it doesn't control me. And when people ask if I still believe in love, I say yes. But now I know. Love isn't just about holding on. Sometimes it's knowing when to let go, with grace, with dignity, with the quiet understanding that not all endings are failures. Some are just necessary. And healing, I've learned, doesn't look like forgetting. It looks like walking past a baby name aisle in a bookstore and not feeling the need to stop.